In this program of Together with Our Residents, we would like to introduce you about the transformation of the sake brewery last year, challenging the revival and tradition from continuing tradition of Shiba, which we broadcasted in January 2017. What kind of meaning is there to restarting the sake brewery here in Minato City? It is a surprise that a sake brewery has been revived here in Shiba region, which is lined with office buildings. It is a valuable regional resource which brings excitement and enhances the charm of the town. Sake, which is rare nationwide to be brewed in the center of the city, has been attracting attention not only from the residents of the local community, but also tourists who visit Minato City as a specialty of the city. We conducted interviews to hear about the path of revival after 100 years since sake was brewed in this region at the end of the Edo period. The brewery was founded approximately 200 years ago in 1812. We continued to do business for 100 years from then until the end of the Edo period and closed the business in 1909. That was a little over 100 years ago. The state of bloodless surrender took place around the Tamachi Station area, which was during the time of the founder to the second generation at the end of the Edo period. It is said that the discussion of this took place at the storehouse of the Satsuma clan, but before that, I heard that the discussion had been taking place in the back parlor of this house. Informing people about what took place in history started to grow in me from about 15 years ago. I had always thought that it would be impossible to start a sake brewery here in Minato City, but I just happened to become acquainted with the current chief sake brewer and realized I could start a brewery in a small space and revive the brewery business 1 year ago, after taking 10 years to obtain the sake license. It is the chief sake brewer who actually brews the sake, and the chief sake brewer who Mr. Saito strongly wanted to revive sake brewery with was Mr. Terasawa. I was working as an officer in charge of brewing at a brewery in Daiba. That's when I met Mr. Saito. There was a Minato City Shopping Arcade Association meeting in 2007, and Mr. Saito said at that time that he would like to visit the brewery in Daiba once, because he was deeply interested in how brewery took place in a tight space, so he came to visit. He said he wanted to connect past history one more time and asked if I could cooperate and came for advice. So, I quit in 2010 when the Daiba brewery closed and started the project that I am working on together with Mr. Saito. We asked about sake brewery in a room in the building. It is critical that we conduct 4 seasons brewery of summer in this tight space regarding sake brewery. Of course, we use the air conditioner in conducting this 4 seasons brewery, but the feature of this method is that we can save electricity energy-wise, and the heat intrusion becomes smaller compared to a large space. In a tight space, we have to follow a process because of the execution of the work. Since we have a limit to the number of workers, and so the critical condition in this tight space is to distribute the work properly. Brewer's sake is the small brewery is mainly done by hand. Water is put into a barrel and the temperature is measured to wash rice, which is the main ingredient of Japanese sake. This process is called washing rice. It is a difficult process because the key is on how much water is absorbed by the rice. It is then steamed. There are 3 other people who work with Mr. Terasawa in the brewery. The process is smoothly handled. A chief sake brewer is in charge of producing sake. He looks over all the steps. The steaming process is completed. The steamed rice is used to make koji or malted rice and moromi. Grains of rice used for producing sake are bigger than those used to eat, and it is oblong in shape. The steamed rice is put on a table to cool. Temperature control is very important in producing Japanese sake, as the room temperature and ingredients can have a big effect. The koji room is used to add koji molds to the steamed rice. This is the yeast starter shubo. It becomes the basis of creating sake along with koji. Shubo, koji, and warm water is mixed. Japanese sake is made by fermenting rice. After the basic batch is made, steamed rice is added. Moromi, the mash, is created as fermentation begins. Moromi was made in a small tank, then is transferred to a big one. Steamed rice is added again, and fermentation still continues. It is then pressed and filtered, and then it becomes Japanese sake. However, there was a lot of difficulties to revive a sake brewery in this region of Shiba. First of all, this site is only 73 square meters. The most difficult thing was that we were able to secure space to brew the sake, but then we didn't have a place to store it. Rice has to be stored separately, and the finished product needed a refrigeration facility to store it in, so we needed a lot of space. That was the part which was the most difficult. Land price is high actually in an area like Minato City, and it didn't generate profit when converting it to rent. So, the issue is how could we calculate the numbers to be profitable? Sake brew revived in the region of Shiba. We asked about the connection with the region. The people in the region have been so supportive and encouraging. They were patient about all the noise and people coming and going because they said it was good for the region. They have helped us so much. I was able to obtain the license because of the support from everyone. Actually, there's an item as a condition in obtaining the license from the Regional Taxation Bureau on how much you are contributing to the community. So, in that sense, it was really nice that the people of the region supported us. We asked about the changes in brewing of the past year. We obtained the manufacturing license on July 1st, 2016. I was aware of what to imagine and the process that would take place in the beginning, but I think that we have been able to finally build up the process and structure in the past year. In addition to sake, we have been able to provide mead, which is honey wine from the Japanese honey meads of Setagaya, and liquor that is sour like wine from lactic acid bacteria. The next step has started because we have been able to create a procedure to a certain extent. I can now start thinking about other areas such as research, now since our employees are now well versed with the procedure. I'm proud because employees are doing their work in the way I hoped they would. Bottling is also done by hand. Each bottle is carefully closed tight. The bottled sake is put in hot water. This is an initial firing process to stop kobo or yeast's activity. Labels are put on the bottles after the initial firing. The handmade brewer's sake. Mr. Saito's daughter, Kaede, designs part of the label. I design the label and create the homepage and also do the editing. I'm also working on communicating about sake to young people and women who haven't drank sake on SNS, such as Facebook and Instagram. I basically like simple things very much. I was not good at old-style Japanese sake labels. I'm always thinking about creating an arrangement of simple designs which convey the taste of sake to have the young generation understand it more. I'm thinking of harmonizing old and new in my design. I had been hearing from my father when I was a small child that our family was in the sake business in the past. I remember that he said that he would like to revive it one day. The hope of wanting to revive his family business, which was continued for 100 years, and the challenge to produce sake in a small brewery. These two hopes came together, and the sake brewery from the Edo area has revived after 100 years. We asked Mr. Terashima, the chief sake brewer, about his future aspiration. The Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic Games will be held here in Tokyo in 2020, and I would like to be able to propose a variety of products by then. Since the venue is nearby, I would like to prepare to provide a space where people can come in contact with Japanese sake. My next dream is to make a small brewery that's easy to transport so a brewery can take place in different places. As the packaging of sake, since the brewery is small, the benefit is that it can be remade anywhere in the town. It doesn't have to be in Japan, and my dream is to be able to contribute in assisting to recommend Japanese sake to the world. Sake that was revived in Shiba. In ending, we asked about Mr. Saito's dream. When I started thinking about brewing sake 15 years ago, was that I wanted to make a souvenir of Tokyo. I was thinking, wasn't there anything that could be definite about a souvenir of Tokyo, and thought that brewing sake could be. So I wanted to sell sake as a souvenir of Tokyo to Japan and sell it to the world. The timing of selling it to the world has to be at the end of the Tokyo hosting the Tokyo 2020 Olympics and Paralympic Games in 2020. I intend to do my best regarding selling Tokyo itself along with Minato City. There are about 10 different kinds of liquor, also sake, that has been produced. Just the other day, there was a ceremony recognizing excellence by the Regional Taxation Bureau, which gives awards. I exhibited in it and received an honor prize. I felt that at last I have been recognized as a sake brewery. I use tap water at this store. I think I was able to prove that sake can be made with tap water and that the taste and quality was good enough because I was given the honor prize from the Regional Taxation Bureau. To me, that was very encouraging. And I am proud to say to everyone that this sake was made from tap water. I want to contribute to do my best in sake brewery and would be grateful for all the support I can get. Thank you. Revival of the sake brewery for the first time in 100 years. We are sure that it will continue to be a souvenir of Minato City, which will be loved by everyone. Minato City has positioned the New Year's as month of eating all because at the time of when eating outside and during year-end and New Year parties is when people and family members leave leftovers on their plates the most in Minato City, which aims to reduce food waste. Month of Eating All is held every year at year-end to New Year's from December 16th to January 15th and from March 16th to April 15th, which is when there are a lot of graduation ceremonies and welcome parties. As an approach at times of dining out, it has been designated that the food tastes the most delicious at banquets 30 minutes after proposing toast and 10 minutes before the ending of the banquet. The 30 and 10 action will be widely appealed as an approach to designate the 30th of every month in households to be Cleaning Up the Refrigerator Day and the 10th of every month as Don't Waste Food and Cooking Day, so that people use food and ingredients inside the refrigerator so as not to waste them. The 30 and 10 action by Minato City is promoting 3 goals to reduce food waste: 1, which is using up ingredients; 2, eating up foods; and 3, draining water completely. Various campaigns aimed at food waste and reducing food loss takes place during the month of Eating All. Digital signage at the walkway of Shinagawa Station and each Minato City facility will be showing PR videos about the month of Eating All. Distribution of enlightenment goods at events by Minato City's waste reduction character Danjiro will be taking place, and as a campaign by the restaurants which participate in the Completely Eating Everything campaign, will distribute messages on paper towels and paper napkins at registered restaurants. This way the users can cooperate along with the participating restaurants of Completely Eating Everything. Minato City started a system to register restaurants within Minato City, which are promoting reduction of food loss as the Minato City Eating Everything Association restaurants from November 2016. You can register even if one of these apply. By registering as a Promoting Eating Everything Completely store, the store is introduced on the Minato City homepage, as well as PRing the store by distributing flyers at events by the Minato Recycle and Waste Management Office. Reducing remains connects to reducing food loss and waste, which also helps in reducing disposal cost. It's easy to register. Fill out the necessary columns of the registration form and bring it to the Minato Recycle and Waste Management Office, or send it by post or fax. This registration form can be downloaded from the Minato City homepage. We would like to ask for your cooperation in reducing food loss under the motto of Don't Let It Go to Waste and Let's Eat Everything during the month of Eating All.